Welcome back to another episode of the Whiskey House Pub House. Today, we tackle the 7 deadly sins of bourbon.
I'm very, very excited. After watching a Bourbon Notes video on this.
Well, so we were mentioned at the end of their video that they did the 7 deadly sins. So go check theirs out. They challenged a couple of other YouTubers to do the same. So that's what we're doing today. Whiskey Boy and I have separate lists. We're going to talk about that. But number one, the first one we're going to do, the first list, is greed. So what is your most expensive bourbon? You want to go first on that?
Sure.
Or do you want me to go first?
Doesn't matter.
All right. Greed. I'll greedily go first.
Sure.
So for me, my most expensive bottle is a Willet Purple Top.
Makes sense.
This one specifically is the Hurricane, if that means anything to you. It's hazmat proof. There's only 34 bottles out of this single barrel. This is my top bottle. This thing was like $500.
It's worth it though.
I'm not proud of it, but I had the opportunity, so I took it.
It's really, really good.
I think it's okay. I wouldn't get another one.
For that price. I mean, I understand that. That's a very expensive bottle. So, I personally wouldn't necessarily pay that.
Mm-hmm.
But
so that's my most expensive. Liquor Boy, what's your most expensive? What's your greed bottle?
my most expensive is the Wild Turkey Diamond Anniversary Edition.
That's a nice looking bottle.
Yeah, so this was the 60th anniversary of Jimmy Russell working at Wild Turkey. So that bottle was, released when I was 12. So
how did you get a bottle of it? Means and ways.
Yes. I paid more because the rules didn't say this had to be most expensive retail bottle. Just the most expensive I've paid.
That's true.
And this was the most that I've paid, and it was around $220.
All right.
Whether or not it was worth it is a different story. But I had to have it because I'm a little turkey boy.
Yep. Well, much like having to have it, lust is the next of the deadly sins. So my bottle for lust is the 2022 Angel's Envy. And the reason for this is because it's a cool looking bottle on my shelf. And of course, it's got this sick...
It just has to have a case.
Yep, door thing. And what was the... There we go. It's got your tasty notes in case you need to read on those because you can't taste. So that's mine. It's a pretty cool looking bottle,
It's cool because it's got a box.
Mm-hmm. And it's pretty good.
It is pretty good. I've had it a couple times now, actually.
Well, what's your bottle for lust? What's the
Well,
coolest
this might
bottle
be a
you
little
have?
controversial for you.
Oh, that's right.
My favorite looking bottle that I have right now is any of the Frey Ranch, really. That's a cool bottle.
I just don't get the sense of
that's a cool bottle.
Yeah, it looks nice, but
The shape of it, the bottom is
All right,
like
this is
an
your
inch
list.
and a
That's
half
fine.
thick.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it's got the logo on it and like the topper too.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing weighs it's ridiculously heavy.
Yeah.
The topper. So, I mean, I think it's a really cool bottle.
Does it taste good?
It's fantastic.
Is that your backup?
Huh?
Is that backup? Is that one open?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I just got that one.
Oh.
It's not sold in Minnesota, so
Right.
I've got the bonded rye. I think it's just like 100 proof rye. That is very, very good.
All right, for number 3, it is, what is it?
Envy.
Number 3 is going to be Envy. So a bottle that you don't have, that someone you know has. For me, it would probably be E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof. So I haven't been able to get my hands on one of those, but I have been able to try it. Whiskey Boy, what's yours?
Yeah, mine is the Russell Single Rickhouse.
Yep, I've been able to try that one, actually.
Yeah. I've heard from many, many people that it is very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I leave for Kentucky on Wednesday.
You know, at time of recording, it is Sunday.
Sunday night, so 2 days before we leave. There's a chance that I could come home with one. I mean, we're down there for 9 or 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we're going to go to Wild Turkey a couple times. We got to go meet Jimmy.
Gotta meet Jimmy. All right, so the next one, number 4, Deadly Sin, is Pride. And for me, it's a bottle if you've checked this channel out before, you've seen it on a daily basis. Not a daily basis. You've seen it before. It's my 2XO that's signed by Dixon Dedman. I just really like the things he's done when he was working at at
Kentucky Owl.
Kentucky Owl. And I just, enjoy some of the stuff he does. It's not the best stuff. But I'm very happy to have gotten his first release of the 2XO signed by him.
I mean, it's good.
And it's up there if you haven't seen it.
Along with all of the other releases.
Yep.
Except for the French Oat.
I haven't opened one. I haven't. Those are just my unopened ones.
Yeah.
So what's yours, Whiskey Boy?
Wouldn't you like to know?
I would. And the audience.
E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof.
Hey, I wanted one of those.
Yeah. Yeah, that is... that's my prized possession right there of my whiskey collection.
Mm-hmm.
Got it through a very, very hard process, which we've talked about before. Very stressful, but, that's how you got to do it.
You were fortunate to get it, and you did.
I did.
All right. And going on to number 5 is Gluttony. Most bottles on the shelf. And for me, this might be controversial.
That's fine.
But for me, this is the truth. I have the most of these. It is the Westland American Single Malt Sherry Wood Finish. I absolutely adore this one. I understand single malts are not for everyone, but this is my most favorite possibly bottle of all time. They discontinued this line, I think, to use it in their American single malt flagships, and I think it's a shame because this is wonderful. I love the regular standard flagship that they have. It's just not as good as this one to me. So I have in my possession probably around 7 or 8 bottles of this because I will not see it again.
Yeah, that's a couple bottles.
If if you happen to like American single malts and you come across this, I recommend getting it, especially if you love sherry bomb scotches like the Glendronachs. It's worth it. Take a chance on it. I know they a lot of times are under 4 years old, but promise me, just try it. I hope I do not steer you wrong, but
even though they're discontinued, I have seen them around a couple times, so they're out there.
All right, what's your Gluttony one?
Good old Buffalo Trace. And of course it has to be 175.
Yep.
So, I mean, for the longest time here, we couldn't get it. So, last time my family went down to Kentucky, they brought home like 8 bottles of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we still have those 8 original. And, we've just gotten it a couple times. And, I mean, some of them are single barrels, but we've got, right now, before we go to Kentucky again, we've got about 16 Buffalo Trace bottles.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've got a couple. And, we keep them around because we do give them as gifts and stuff. And we use it as a mixer, too. So, it's always good to have a couple around.
Yep. Well, I think there's a lot of people that have a lot of Buffalo Trace on them, so you're not the only one.
Nope.
I think has a little gluttony towards that.
That's the little tater in me.
Yep, a little tater in them. But we're going on to the next one, number 6, Wrath. That is going to be one you will not buy again. You are angry at this thing. It has wronged you in some way. And for me, the bottle that ticks me off the most is anything almost by Basil Hayden, especially the toasted one.
I think a lot of people can say that.
I am fed up with Basil Hayden's. I understand that the base level is a good starting point for people getting into it. Nothing wrong with that. I just think that the kind of weird variations they have, they're just not good. They're expensive, and they're only 40% ABV.
Yeah, that's just...
There's other stuff out there. You know, everyone's got their own thing, so if you like it, no hard feelings on it, but I will not buy... Yeah, I will not buy another Basil Hayden's. So, what about for you? What's your Wrath bottle?
The one that not only was disappointing, but just was really bad. Smoke Wagon Malted Rye.
Yeah, you didn't like that.
No one did. It, everything else they do, I mean, pretty much everything else, is just a solid bottle. And I mean, they're pretty affordable. Like the regular just Smoke Wagon is like $30. This one was $85.
Yeah.
But I mean that's kind of what you get. You got to take that chance, and sometimes you strike out.
For sure. Well, that's been our list. Was there another one?
Yeah.
What's the other one? Oh, Sloth. I forgot about that. We'll just cut that in. All right, and then number 6, our last one.
7.
Number 7, our last one, is Sloth. One that you've been slow to kind of start to get into for whatever reason. And for me, being local Minnesota, we have seen this brand kind of coming into its own as far as product, and that's going to be Keeper's Heart. It's been a couple years since they opened their facility, and they've been doing a lot of blending Irish whiskey and American whiskey and some bourbons, some unique finishes. However, I just, for whatever reason, have not gotten into it. There's been times where they're on sale and I've almost pulled the trigger, but it just, for some reason, does not intrigue me that much. So I would like to get into more of it. The one that I've been very tempted on pulling the trigger is their 10-year Irish single malt that is sourced. I have seen that around, but I just can't pull the trigger at the price tag sometimes. So,
yeah.
But that's my list.
So my Sloth would be the Lucky 7, specifically the Holiday Toast. I believe it's a double oak toasted barrel. I've heard so many great things about it, but every time I see it, it's about $80 or $90.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I see it, I'm just like, I just can't do it. But I've heard so many good things about it, and I've seen reviews on it, and they're always really good. But there's just something about that bottle that makes me stray away from it.
Yep.
So hopefully in the future, I'll actually just buy that bottle and we can try it.
For sure. Well, that's been our list of the 7 deadly sins of bourbon and one single malt American whiskey. I think we should do one shout out. I think we should have Randall from Whiskey Shaman podcast and YouTube channel. See if he's interested in taking up this concept and wants to do his own spin on that. So if you're watching that and you're up to it, Randall, your move. But that's going to do it for this episode of the Whiskey House Pub House. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe and check out some of our other videos. Leave us a comment of maybe something else you want us to do. And for this time, we'll see you next time.
See ya.